Good evening. It's Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, and welcome to the Town Board, the Town of Carmel Town Board voting meeting. We have 4 items on our voting agenda, followed by a work session. I call this meeting to order, and I ask our Deputy Clerk, Alice Daly, to please do a roll call attendance.
Councilman Baranowski. Councilman Lombardi.
Here.
Councilwoman McDonough. Here. Councilman Channel.
Here.
Supervisor Kazari.
Here. If everyone would please rise, face the flag. Councilman Shannon will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to take a moment of silence to remember all the men and women fighting for our freedom each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you. So for those of you at home, tonight we have the Mahopac cheer team for some proclamations. It's a privilege to take this opportunity on behalf of the Town of Carmel Town Board to congratulate the Mahopac High School cheer team on their hard work, effort, and your special talent for being selected the NCAA 2023 National Champions. Congratulations. This is a very special accomplishment, and the Town of Carmel wants to let you know how proud we are of you. We're going to call your name up, and we have some proclamations. So if you would come up and take them. So are we all going to go, or?
We're going to call the names first?
Yeah.
You're all.
Are they in order?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to call everybody up. Dakota Caballero. Mia Candarella. Ariana Catarito. Isabella Chiotti. The Italian names come very easy for me. Gianna Sorelli. Not here. Kate Conklin. Sierra Davis. Jamie Generino. Juliana Greco. Leah Greco. Owen Klein. Alexis LeBlanc. Kira McDowell. Isabel Marielli. Mariella. Alexa Palovich. Brooke Platt.
Yes, we also have for the head.
Bruce Procell. And we also have proclamations for head coach Jasmine DiCosmo. and assistant coach Elisa Cintron.
And I think if we could get all you cheerleaders to the front with the board, I'm gonna try to get a group picture of you all.
We stand up here. Congratulations. Congratulations.
How's what working? Oh, it's not us, it's the school board,
The town is keeping the Hopeback Indians.
right? And Indians are on our town seal still.
Our seals,
Yeah,
right in town, it's the Hopeback Indians.
yeah.
It's staying.
Maybe we should change to the Chiefs. That's
Goodbye.
the Chiefs. So we want to thank the Indians for coming, and we're very proud of them. So if there's anyone in the audience, a resident, that would like to speak? Nope? Okay, well, seeing as how there are no residents' comments at this moment, I make a motion to accept the town board minutes from January 11th and the 18th of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second. So moved. Second.
Lombardi, Shano, McDonough, all in favor? Aye. Carries. Our first resolution is amending and adopting Town of Carmel Information Systems Usage Policy. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that for us?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby amends and adopts, effective immediately, the Town of Carmel Information System Usage Policy dated February 8, 2023, as attached hereto and made part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough. It's a roll call.
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shano?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, Resolution 1 passed. Our second resolution is acknowledging emergency repairs, Carmel Water and Sewer Districts. Councilman Shano, could you?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various water and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, hereby acknowledges the emergency performance of water and sewer district collection system / distribution system and treatment facility repairs as fully detailed in the memorandum of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to the Town Board dated January 31st, 2023, as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Can we get a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shano?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, Resolution 2 is passed. Our third resolution is authorizing the advertisement for bids. Resolved that Richard Franzetti, P.E., Town Engineer, is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for the purchase and installation of sewer jetting for Town of Carmel sewer districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and be it further resolved that upon finalization and completion of bid specifications, the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to Town Clerk Ann Spofford, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 3 passed. The fourth resolution is authorizing advertisement for bids. Councilwoman McDonough?
Shall resolve that Richard Franzetti, P.E., Town Engineer, is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for chemical supplies for the various town water and sewer treatment plants. And be further resolved that upon finalization and completion of bid specifications, the town engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk Ann Spofford, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Baranowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 4 is passed. Thank you very much, Alice. Can I get a motion to adjourn the voting meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Baranowski, seconded by McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks,
good night.
Alice.
Thank you.
Good night, Alice.
So will somebody make a motion to open the work session?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So we have minutes from the February 1st and the 8th, February 8th, 2023 meeting for you, please, to review. Our first item on this agenda is Police Chief Anthony Hoffman. Consider request to authorize purchase of replacement of department rifles. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board.
Chief.
I have 3 items before you this evening, and before I do that, if I could just take a moment and acknowledge the work of the Mahopac Fire Department, Mahopac Falls, and Carmel Fire Departments at the brush fire we had earlier this evening off of Tulip Road. They did an incredible job. From what I was told, there were a couple acres involved. There was all wooded area. There were no structures that were damaged, no injuries. So I was out there at the scene myself. They did excellent work, and we're proud to work with them. So good for them.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Moving on, the first item I have before you is a request to replace our department rifles. As you can see from the memo, we have our patrol rifles for our patrol vehicles that, well, with the exception of 3 of them, they all date back to 2001. So they have a 22-year service life. They're due to be replaced. We could overhaul them. We do have certified armorers downstairs, our firearms instructors are, but the cost to do that would be in the neighborhood of $10,000. So it would be more efficient and more fiscally responsible for us to just replace the rifles. We would be getting the rifles that we're looking to get are provided by FN America. They're currently the supplier to the Department of Defense. They replaced Colt, if you're aware of the Colt AR-15, M16. It's now, the Department of Defense now uses this rifle provided by FN America. So Detective Kevin Anderson of our firearms unit did the research, found out that not only this particular rifle, the SRP G2P carbine, fits our needs, and the ancillary equipment, an optic sight, and a light switch. We already have the flashlights, we just need a different switch. So all told, for one particular weapon system, it's going to be $1,223.66. To outfit the 19 vehicles that we have, it would be $23,249.54. All of this, 2 of the 3 components are state contract. The third, the rifle itself, is price matched to state contract. They're from Atlantic Tactical in Farmingdale, New York, a vendor that we've dealt with in the past that we're happy with. And additionally, as far as funding goes, this would be coming out of our 22 equipment line budget. This is a project that we actually started back in 2021, researching the replacement of our rifles. So we had an amount earmarked in our equipment budget for these replacement, and I recommend that we proceed with that purchase. Okay?
Thank you.
And it fits in the car with the optic on it?
Yes, yeah. We just have to do some adjustment on the rifle rack, but yeah, we'd be able to get that in there.
It's nice to have the optics, especially for the old people like me that can't see the sights anymore.
So Chief, for the rifles that we're replacing, is there like a trade-in value or anything?
Yes, we're working with some of the local gun stores to see where we can get the biggest buyback amount
Okay.
from.
Perfect.
So hopefully, we're in the neighborhood of $200 to $250 a rifle. So we'll be able to recoup some of that money.
Sure.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
So our next item is consider request to approve patrol vehicle equipment upfit for the 2 Durango Pursuit SUVs.
Yes. Thank you, sir. As the board is aware, we've been having some consistent difficulties in acquiring vehicles. We had our order for 2 Ford Interceptor hybrids that we actually approved for purchase last year at about this time. That was canceled by Ford back in the fall. We had to do some scrambling. We were able to get some vehicles, and during that time, we got on the New York State OGS mini bid system, put out a request for police-type SUVs to keep our fleet going. We received a bid response from Robert Green in Monticello, a dealer that we've worked with in the past, for 2 Durangos. We received them back at the end of November. Now we're ready to upfit them with emergency lights and sirens. Steve McCabe, our fleet supervisor or sergeant, sent out requests to the local vendors that we normally use. The only response we received was from RFC Emergency Lighting out of Briarcliff. They are a very good vendor. They've upfitted our past 3 vehicles, and we're very happy with their service. The 2 vehicles that we have, they're 2 white Durangos. One is going to be upfitted as a normal CPD patrol vehicle. The other, as I've discussed with the board, we're looking to do as a low-profile traffic enforcement vehicle. And what that means is the emergency light bar is going to be like tucked inside the headliner of the vehicle, so it's not immediately apparent. And the striping on the sides of the car is going to be the same color as the vehicle exterior paint. So at first glance, it's just going to look like a white Durango. However, when the light hits those reflective decals, you'll see that it's a police vehicle. If the light bar is activated, obviously it'll flash like a normal police vehicle, and it'll enable us to do traffic enforcement duties and respond to our traffic complaints in a more efficient manner. So that being said, all told, for both vehicles, I would request a town board resolution in an amount not to exceed $35,000 for both vehicles. That is a rounded up amount because at this time, we don't have an exact figure for the shipping costs for all the equipment, for the light bars and stuff. It's bulky to the point where we've been finding that we've been getting hit with additional shipping charges, and we've had to amend the resolutions and whatnot. So I just kind of stretched out that resolution request so we can cover that without having to make an amendment. This amount comes out of our 23 budget line, and it's completely covered, and therefore I recommend we go with RFC Emergency Lighting for this project.
Anybody?
No?
Wasn't it like 12,000 when I was down there?
Yeah, it's, over the past year, we've seen out of the blue, completely surprised price increases, and we're not happy. We've actually had to switch vehicle suppliers because they just come at us with a 20% increase. That's not something that we want to cover.
Excuse me. And then the third item on our agenda is, again, Police Chief Anthony Hoffman, consider request to amend previous resolution, April 2022, to purchase and install digital license plate readers and software licensing support.
Thank you again, sir. I'll start with this. This particular request for resolution amendment has no financial impact to the town whatsoever. As the board is aware, back on April 20th of last year, a resolution was passed enabling us to proceed with the purchase of license plate readers and the laptop computers that go with these LPRs. The LPR units are going to be put in our patrol vehicles. This project was covered under a New York State SAM grant that was begun by you, Supervisor Kazari, in the amount of $50,000, and we have purchased one of the 4 setups that we were able to put in one of our patrol vehicles. We're looking to purchase an additional 3. As we were looking at this project, our IT supervisor, Sergeant Neil Brown, discovered that a computer system that we had previously used had been reintroduced and improved and gave us some additional capabilities at an actual reduced price of the initial computer system we had. The initial computer system was from a company called Patrol PC, and it was about $7,200 a piece. The system that we're asking to adjust our resolution to get is at about $6,800, gives us the same capabilities plus more. So therefore, I'd like to ask that the board make an amendment to that resolution of April 20th, 2022, to allow us to purchase 3 computer units required for our LPR units from Island Tech Services of Ronkonkoma, New York, in the amount of $21,424.50, although there's no financial, like I said, there's no financial impact to the town because all this is already covered under the SAM grant.
Do you want to say Ronkonkoma?
Ronkonkoma?
I can pronounce, I'm a Long Islander, so I can pronounce Ronkonkoma.
This is, we're saying that for Loopy.
That and that other word you couldn't say. Apprentices.
Commoner.
Commoner.
Commoner, yes.
That was the one.
Just, that's good to go back to the
Appurtenances.
tough books.
Appurtenances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yep.
did well with those.
Purposes.
In Ronkonkoma, yes.
Ronkonkoma.
This is great. As you know, I've said before, I'm a big advocate of these license plate readers and, you know, other new technology that's coming online, so thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Chief, for everything.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So next up, item 4 is our Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell. Consider request to authorize budget revisions for December 2022, number 2022-06. Mary Ann,
Good evening.
good evening.
Good evening. The fun stuff.
Fun stuff, yes, fun stuff.
For Stephen.
For Steve,
Yeah.
for Steve. I enjoy it too, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Okay, so this is the final budget revisions for 2022. So I'll go through the general fund first. Number 1 and number 2, we're providing for, the first one is providing for network access control system from an awarded New York State grant. That's the, what was done in the building with the network access, you know, with the remote access. So that was a $50,000 grant that was awarded. We have paid the vendor, so now we're just, you know, waiting on reimbursement from New York State. Same thing with number 2. This is provide for a special operations truck from also a New York State awarded SAM grant. That was for one of the pickup trucks in the police department. We did pay that, so we're just waiting on reimbursement. Number 3, we're providing for vehicle repairs from an insurance claim of $3,900, $3,924.97. Number 4, we're providing and transferring for police overtime. $4,500 is coming from the traffic control from Villa Barone, and the rest is coming from the police uniform staff. The community police overtime budget was over by $7,400, and the Lake Patrol and K-9 overtime was slightly over budget as well. Number 5, we're providing for a payout of accrued vacation time in the highway admin department. Number 6, we're transferring for an appraisal on the downtown property, snow removal at Swan Cove, and holiday decorations. The total is coming from the contingent account, which is $11,800. Number 7 and number 8, I'm not going to go through all of these. These are just transfers between various budget lines in the general fund and also in the recreation department. Top of page 2, number 9, we're transferring for the parking lot lighting and landscaping improvements at the airport park. I've gone over this with Jim Gilchrist. So we're transferring from 2 of his lines. The Baldwin Meadows contractual expense line, we're taking $68,800. And the airport equipment line, we're taking $37,000. We're putting that money into the park capital improvement line, and that will be, so that, with that $105,800, we have $15,000 in there already, so we will have $120,000 to do the necessary work that I believe the board is looking to do down at the airport park, okay? With the lighting and landscaping improvements. Okay? Number 10, this is various funds, the general fund and other funds, and this is to provide for certiorari settlements and tax warrant adjustments. The tax warrants adjustments are due to Putnam County, and certiorari settlements, so it's various funds, the general fund and different special districts. The highway fund, we're providing for a guide rail repair from an insurance claim. Also transferring from miscellaneous expenses in the highway fund. Now, the next couple of pages, I'm going to just go over, this is the water and sewer districts, and I'm just going to go over and touch on the ones that we had to take from the fund balances. I'm not going to go through the other ones we were able to transfer within the fund and not touch the fund balance. So in water district number 2, we did have to take $82,000 from the fund balance. Most of that was going to emergency repairs. $20,000 was going to purchase of water, which is the New York City, what we pay New York City to fund, yeah, yeah, I know, it's tough. So $82,000 has to come from the fund balance in that district, so we did end with a positive fund balance in water too, but, we did have to draw from that. On page 3, water district number 6, we're taking $4,000 from the fund balance. That was mixed between operating expenses, utility expenses, and emergency repairs. Also, water district number 8, we're pulling $28,000 from the fund balance. Again, emergency repairs, utility expenses, and contractual. I think utility expenses was a big hit in '22 due to fuel, a lot of different unforeseen expenses in the districts, so. Water district number 10, again, $4,000 from the fund balance for emergency repairs. Sewer district number 1, $12,000 from the fund balance for contractual expenses. And sewer district number 2, $17,000 from the fund balance amongst other transfers within the fund. Sewer district number 7, $3,000 from the fund balance. And sewer district number 8 is being covered by an insurance claim that has been submitted. So we should get that money back from insurance. So I think there's another claim, that claim is ongoing. It's we're going to be submitting again for a sewer district. It's something to do with the Drewville pump station or something. So, but I think it's close to an $88,000 claim that our insurance will hopefully cover. So. And the last page, page 5, I'll just touch on the capital funds. Lake Cassie Capital Fund, where engineering services of $43,000, that's proceeds of borrowing will cover that. Highway Resurfacing Capital Fund, this $502,770 is coming from the county. Okay, this was work that the highway superintendent, they did paving last year, so that is coming from the county. It's coming from the sales tax funding that the county is giving us, yeah. So that's the county sales tax funding and the ARPA funding that they are providing us with. So that $502,000 will cover that cost. In water district number 3 and number 14, this is the tanks. So proceeds of borrowing for water 3 is $10,774, and water 14 is $10,980. And that's all I have for '22.
Wow.
Hey, Mary Ann,
2022.
are we getting any more of COVID money that's coming in, like all the expenses that we sent out? Did we get everything back?
We did receive everything.
We're not
Yeah.
getting anything else back, no?
No, we did receive everything
All
that
right.
we expensed, anything, like, I
Yeah.
think it was close to, I think the plexiglasses were covered. When we had to clean town hall, that was
Right.
covered. But we haven't,
I was just
luckily, we
hoping for
haven't
some
had
extra
to
money.
expense
Yeah.
anything in a while,
Yeah, okay.
So, but we did, I would say that was closed probably sometime in early '22, maybe late
Yeah,
'21.
recouped. All
That
right.
We did receive final,
That was all
final
money
funding.
from that separate budget line that we had created.
Yes.
Yes,
just
we
for-
created a
Yeah.
separate, yep.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep, all right,
And we did receive,
pretty much everything.
the
Good.
funding on that, so,
All
yeah.
right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
we also did finally receive the funding for the tropical storm Isaias.
Oh, good.
We finally did, yeah, at the end of last year as well.
All
So
right.
that was over, I would say over
So,
500,000
Yeah.
that we received, mostly highway.
What
Yeah.
year was
Funding.
that? I don't even remember.
That was in 2020,
20,
August of 20, and we received it in 22.
22.
Great.
The end of 22.
Yeah, so.
All right, perfect.
All right, so the fifth thing on our agenda is, again, our town controller, Mary Ann Maxwell. Consider request to authorize encumbrances for 2022 funds for expenditures in 2023. Mary Ann?
So these are basically in lines in the general fund. We look at what we want to carry forward if we didn't use the funds. And also if it's not earmarked for like a specific vendor, that, usually if you have a vendor in mind, you put a requisition in and a purchase order. But, if it's just funds that we're carrying forward, like some of the things on here, we just basically carry forward. And this 1,150,000 becomes a fund balance, basically, just so I can kind of explain that. We move the money forward, but it's set aside for these purposes.
For these purposes.
Okay, and then if the board decides to change a purpose, or just, says, okay, well, we don't want to, like, as an example, last year we had the Boulder Meadows on this resolution. In the budget revisions, we're basically changing that and moving that to the park capital improvements, because I think the Boulder Meadows, the purpose for that was, I think, the bathroom, and I don't think that's going to happen, or the money was, wasn't enough to do that, so.
Yep.
Anyway, so this basically is setting aside a fund balance for the purposes that are on this resolution, just so I can kind of explain that a little to you. So the first one is building grounds special improvement. This is 85,000 that was not used, so we're carrying that forward to 2023. And that's just for our building improvements, upgrades to town hall. 95,000 is data imaging equipment. We've been budgeting 10,000 a year, and we're carrying that forward. I think the town clerk's office does want to eventually use that money to upgrade the data imaging. 70,000 for technology upgrades, which Councilwoman McDonough knows we've been, using, and Ann has been involved in that as well. So we've been working with Sullivan Data or Logically to continuously upgrade our technology, from year to year. So we're on top of it. The next three are coming from the contingent line. We have 73,000 left for software conversion, 35,000 left in the master plan town code, and 300,000 for Swan Cove improvements. Police vehicle, now the next couple lines are all police lines, 50,000 for police vehicle encumbrance. The chief had money left in his line, so he's looking to move that forward to the 23. 40,000 in police other equipment, 40,000 in consulting services, 70,000 in records management system and radios. I know they are looking at radios. 10,000 in lake patrol equipment. And then the next five are recreation lines that are have excess in it. 21,887 for park video surveillance. I think there are either one or two parks that they're still looking to put surveillance cameras in. 10,000 in the skate park, 90,000 in the Swan Cove improvements, 40,000 to recoat the skating rink, and the 120,000 that I talked about before is the airport park lighting and landscaping. And then the only other one on here is the Mayapack Falls Fire Department, 92,230 is for the dry hydrant estimate. So we've been carrying that forward, budgeting 10,000 a year and carrying it forward in case they need it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
And you've got number 6, too.
Is that good? Any other questions on that? Okay. So yeah, number 6, I just took a look at the 2023 budget and just a couple of adjustments on here. Number 1, we're providing for the payout of accrued vacation time in the supervisor's department. Number 2, we're providing for the purchase of dispatcher chairs, desktop for detective, and police wellness program from grant funding and seized assets. So that's no cost to the town. It's either coming from their seized asset account or grant funding. Number 3, we're transferring for the recreation boating study for Lake Mayapack and Kirk Lake from the contingent line. I think that 15,000 is an estimate. I'm not sure what it's, because I think the resolution was just passed as an hourly. So if we don't need that full 15,000, we can transfer it back. Number 4, we're providing and transferring for the town attorney staff compensation. Town attorney's salary, it was not budgeted as an employee, so we had to just move it to the employee line. It's coming from the lines that were already budgeted. We did have to take 33,000 from the fund balance for the benefit, for employee benefit cost. Number 4, transferring for the HVAC contract, that's coming from the contingent line, $3,800. And number 7, basically is just moving the resolution that we just talked about before. It's just moving those funds forward to 23. So everything that you see in number 7 is also on this resolution here. And on page 2, this is transferring for the, excuse me, the PFOS and the PFOA's engineering services. Basically for water districts 3, 4, 5, and 6. And also districts 1, 8, 10, and 13. This is engineering services that was approved last year. It wasn't, we didn't have enough money in the budget in 2022, so we have to provide for it in 2023. We did have money in water districts 9 and 12, so we were able to start that last year in 9 and 12, but the other districts, we have to provide the funding this year. So that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Steve, are you happy with that?
I'm very happy.
Anything, any more numbers you want to go over, Steve?
It's all about me.
It is all about you. Good looks and smart.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
very much.
Great.
So our 7th item on the work session is James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks, consider request to authorize renewal of agreement with American Society of Authors and Publishers for the 2023 Sunset Concert Series. I could just read it.
Yeah, I can also tell you. So you have to, for your summer concert series, the public playing and performance of copyrighted music, you have to enter into a license agreement with ASCAP. And it's an annual thing you do for these performances, and it's, I think it's $420 this year. But it's required, otherwise technically there's an infringement if you don't have the agreement with it. And it's, I think we've been doing it for every year for the past 15 or 20 years that I can recall. And,
Yeah.
It's not that big of a
It's
fee.
great.
it's got to be, right, but it has to be done for the public performance by the town of the copyrighted music, so.
Okay.
Right, so we'll do the license agreement once it comes in from ASCAP, if it's not already there.
As a guitar player, do you count?
I'm not performing publicly, so I'm not
Jimmy
subject to
Jimmy
it.
didn't call you yet?
No, he did not. Call has not come in.
Get you and Jim Myers up there. Our 8th item is our town attorney, Gregory Fulchetti Esquire. Consider request to commence legal proceedings for the acquisition of titles of several subdivision roads in the town of Carmel. Sir?
So, actually, the authorization for the commencement of the legal proceedings was previously given at the request of Highway Superintendent Simone. There are multiple roads within the town that were part of developed subdivisions, James Court, Julia Court, Maple Lane, Bowerline Court, Betsy Court, and Black Rock Road. They were intended for dedication and have never been dedicated. So what my office has done is to obtain the title abstracts on those, and there are a few of them that are pretty straightforward, and there are a few that are fairly complicated, but what's got to be done to commence the proceedings is drafting the acquisition maps, and that's going to require surveys. So really what I'm looking for is authorization for a request for proposals for survey services to split up for James Court, Julia Court, and Maple Lane, because those are all owned by one or two developers, and the other 3 roads in a separate RFP or a separate section of the RFP, because there are multiple parties and interests for those roads because of how the conveyances went. So it's going to be a longer proceeding, but I can't move any further without having the surveys and the acquisition maps prepared, and they've got to be done by a licensed surveyor or an engineer. We did this for Odessa Court maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and we just got the survey of the as-built and prepared it for the proceedings, and that's what I'm looking to do now, authorize the RFP.
Thank you. So just to tell you, the highway superintendent stopped into my office this afternoon after reading that, and he wanted to thank you for getting on this and getting it done. It's a long, hard process, and he appreciates it.
The problem is, from the highway perspective, is you're maintaining the roads because the developers are long gone, but you're not, because they're not town roads, you're not getting any state funding, any CHIPS money for that mileage.
Like 2.5 miles or something
There's,
like that.
there's,
yeah.
there's, in that neighborhood, and you can actually put them on your inventory, and you'll get the funding for them, and you're still doing the work now without it. So that's why it needs to happen. It's happened previously with other roads, but that's why I want to get it done and get the surveys. Hopefully something, then this spring you can commence the proceedings and acquire the roads.
Anybody?
Thank you.
No? Thanks, Greg.
That's great. So the last item on the work session is from Justice Court. It's consider request to acknowledge receipt of notice of availability, records and docket, fiscal year ending 2022. This is a letter from both the Justices Jacobellis and Miller. It is just stating that pursuant to Uniform Justice Court Act, Section 2019A, it is the duty of every justice to present their records and docket at least once a year to the auditing board of the village or town, which shall examine such records or docket or cause same to be examined and enter into the minutes of its proceedings the fact that they were duly examined. So I guess we need a resolution to accept that we're going to look at them.
Acknowledge that the town court has opened its books under the Uniform Justice Court Act.
Thank you. If it's possible, comments first before I go to exec. So everybody, in observance of President's Day, next Monday, Town Hall will be closed, February 20th. Town Hall will be closed. And the next meeting that we're having is March 1st, and that is at 7 p.m. at the Carmel Volunteer Fire Department. They're on Vink Drive, but their address is really, I think, 93 Glenada Avenue, something like that. But it's up in Carmel on the corner of Glenada Avenue, Route 52, and Vink Drive. So, comments? What? In 2 weeks, March 1st. Yeah, March 1st. Yes, and we have the 2 public hearings, the one on the change to the moratorium for the smoke shops, and we have the change to the amendment to our taxation code, which pertains to the volunteer fire department, those members, the addition to it. Anybody have comments?
No?
Just one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just mention that there was an article in the paper today. I don't know if all of you had a chance to see it, but it talked about the outstanding graduation rate of high school kids from our local high schools across the county. So I just, I wanted to just congratulate the school districts and of course the families and the parents for, you know, just a fantastic job that, you know, that combined the communities are doing there, because as you all know, you know, in a lot of places across the country, the graduation rates are miserable, miserable.
Right.
So,
Yeah, thanks for pointing it out. So let's hear it for our Rams and our Indians.
That's right.
How many times is he going to say that? So, can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Richard did a punch line.